to another episode of On Campus. I'm your host, Mason Flores. We are on the Solano College Sports Network studio. Today, I'm joined by Adel Lotai. And, we've had great moments in this classroom, outside the classroom. When we're hanging out, we're talking. Baseball broadcast, we're having fun. Energy's always up. Tell me a little bit about your experience in this program.
Well, so far in this program, I've learned a lot of stuff basically, and I've learned the most important part is learn about a new sport, which is baseball, which is where I came from. We don't have baseball basically back home, so coming here and join this program, and I kind of open my eyes with with the sport and with the broadcasting and how things go basically. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how was the transition of coming here to back home, and tell us where you're from.
I'm from Tunisia, North Africa. Yeah, it's a very different continent basically.
Yeah. So tell us how that experience has been coming over to the States.
Oh, it's been crazy. It's been like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Just imagine you as a 20-year-old kid, not knowing a lot of things in life, and kind of you live your life with your parents, with your family, with your friends, and then boom, just one day, no plans, nothing, and then you come here in the state alone with a suitcase.
Yeah.
And bro, it was mind blowing.
Yeah.
Different culture, different people, different language, and different it's tradition basically. And I was just amazed by the people, by and by the schools here and everything, and I made some fun time here as well.
Yeah.
Being an outsider basically, and having a different background, and you can chat to a lot of people and stuff like that. But overall, it was fun. It was fun.
And for you, how do you think that has shifted you in terms of your life and how you are as a person, being here?
Well, I grew up a lot here, basically, since I've been dealing with other stuff alone, with no, basically, with no support, with my family, basically, so that shifted between I was a kid basically, and then coming here, and I matured here basically, not at home. And that, I gained a lot of, experience, a lot of life lessons, and right or wrong, and, being more able, to be dependent, basically. Yeah.
Wow. And for you, why did you come over to the States?
It wasn't my choice.
It wasn't your choice?
It wasn't my choice.
Really?
So it's actually a funny story. It's a crazy story. So one summer evening, I was just chilling at home, and then my mom told me there's this agency that send students to the States. But nah, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And then basically on the next day, we went to the agency. In 2 months, I got my visa. Boom, I'm here.
Wow.
Bruh, it was not planned at all. Imagine sitting here, and then I got a phone call. Oh, there's this agency that gonna take you abroad. Boom, 2 months, and we don't even know what's the plan, what are you gonna do, what's school, we don't know nothing.
Wow.
Then boom, that's it. You're there in 3 months or something.
And then you're in a different world.
In a different continent.
That's crazy. That shift, how fast was the shift for you? How quickly did you have to adapt?
Well, my first 6 months here, it was kind of difficult because I'm still in my back home mind basically. So I wasn't really realizing that's me being here. I'm still I still thinking about my old mind basically. It's currency and how to act and how to talk. So I was in the beginning, first 6 months, it was get to know the area and get to know the place and the people and the culture, and that was tough. That was tough, in the beginning.
That sounds hard.
Yeah.
I think with things like that, I can't really relate to that because, I'm from here, and the most I've ever had to adapt is moving to another city. I haven't even moved to another state or anything. And I think that even moving from another city was hard for me, and I can't even imagine moving from another country, especially away from your family. Like I can't, especially how young you were. Like, not,
Yeah.
you know, early 20s. You know, I'm in my early. I'm just 20. I just turned 20 a few months ago. Like, you know, I'm just now starting that, so I can't even. And this is a pivotal part of my life, so I can't even imagine going through something like that. How do you think this class has impacted you personally?
Social skills, you know, and get like to know more people,
Mm-hmm.
and like to feel, you know, like not like an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
So like for a moment, you
Yeah.
know, because like basically, so like I've been here for this September, like I will be making like 5 years,
Mm.
you know, and like being like in this class and like around you guys, you know,
Yeah.
that felt like there's a connection,
Yeah.
you know, like okay, like we have like some like similarities, you know, and like especially me like so like developing to
Yeah.
like more like American like
Yeah.
right now, like you know,
Yeah.
like so like get like the culture and getting, you know, the terms and getting, you know, it's like the so like it's like the definitions
Mhm.
and everything. So like I've been, you know, like more like comfortable now, and especially like in this class,
Mhm.
you know, to it's like to be like with you guys basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what's so great about California is the diversity
Yep.
that is so welcomed. Like when you came to this class, it was just so cool. Like to have your perspective on things. Like I think that's really. I think you've changed a certain dynamic in this class this semester when you told us like where you're from and stuff and like your experiences and it's kind of like eye opening and mind opening. You know, when you get a different perspective. You know, and we still have things similar and in common and things like that. Like that really makes us feel united. I think that's what is so important about diversity is having different perspectives on things and then coming to like a consensus in the middle, you know, and that's what having friends are. That's what this class does, you know. When you're in this class, you know, I think when you build those connections, that's the probably the best part of this class is this is like a job and you're in the work field, like you're out doing stuff that's not just on this campus. Sometimes we go to high school football games and then, you know, it's like we're working, you know, we're representing something that's bigger than ourselves. And I think that's so cool to this class is how much unity we need when we're coworkers, you know. And I think that's what's the biggest part of this class and what's so important for you looking forward. What are your goals and what are your aspirations in the future?
Well, like I just told you, you know, I'm getting married,
Yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
you know, and that's like a big step. But like in my like career, basically, I am looking forward like to finish my degree in like in aviation. So as an aviation like mechanic, and that's like a huge step for me. And that's
Yeah.
you know, and also so like since like coming here, you know, like I've had that, you know, that like so like that like future, and that will be like going like to the school and like getting like my degree, and then like will work at a center company, and I will be have like with the future. And honestly, that is will be my biggest like achievement ever. It's like in life, you know, like to finish, you know, sort of college and get like my degree, like in something that I really like, and like work in a field, you know, that I feel so like that I really feel like comfortable at, and also, you know, get it's like the privilege, it's like to work on planes and like and also like seaplanes, you
Yeah.
know, and yeah.
So for you, do you plan on traveling at all when you get to your career?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because that is, it's basically you will have, it's like infinite, you know, like traveling, so like experience. So you will have, you know, like free tickets basically, so like worldwide,
Yeah.
and you will just, you know, book a ticket and go. It's that easy,
Yeah, that's super
you know.
cool.
And like plus, life is meaningless like without you. It's like discovering it basically.
Yeah.
You know, like you gotta it's like have a life as well. Like not, you know, work and that's it. You know, especially like so like traveling and go like to different countries and like seeing like different culture and like different food and different people and like be with them basically. Not just act like a tourist.
Yeah.
Just like I'm gonna go to this hotel.
Yeah.
Nah. Like be like in the moment. You know.
Yeah, be in the community.
Yeah.
I definitely plan on doing that when I'm settled in my career.
Mhm.
Go on vacations to different countries just like what you said, like experience how different it is over there, and
Yeah.
you know, like the cultures, and you absorb those things and you take it back home, you know. And I think that's what, like you said, is so important to life is ignorance. You want to be more knowledgeable with more stuff, you know. You want to be more educated in things, and you know, I think ignorance is a privilege, but at the same time, that's why you should take your time to read and go explore things, like you said. And you know, I'm really excited for you. I'm really excited for what continues. Why could you tell somebody or these people why would they take the class, even if they're not a sports fan or anything?
It's for the experience, and also it's for the skills.
Mm-hmm.
It's like to work with the camera, also like with the people that like you will work with, because like it's basically not like just like a regular class.
Yeah.
It's, you know, a team, and also like you said, it's a job. It's like not a class. So like we'll be working as like you work at a regular job.
Yeah.
And you will work here, like, but working on a camera, and you have a crew with you, and you have your teammates basically, and you will be guys, you're like chatting like on everything, you know, and having podcasts and being, you know, it's like super close basically, you know, and like not feel like, oh, like so like you're just like my classmate, you know. No, it's like more than that, you know. And it's basically the relationship that we have here. It's amazing basically.
Yeah, I think that's, like, I mean, I've said it multiple times. Each semester, it's different dynamics and different groups, and I think this semester is probably my favorite semester in terms of that. The friendships that I made, I think I'll forever remember this and have these forever connections with these people, and I think that's really important in life, you know. And this class gives you the opportunity, you know, if you're like a antisocial person or someone who's really to yourself, you know, I think this class can really bring it out of you, because that's something what POF tells you is to really express yourself and like put yourself out there, you know. You're the guy who's behind the camera, you know, and you're doing this. You know, this is the guy who does this. Guy does the baseball broadcast. When you're watching the games, this is the guy who's responsible for that, you know. And I think that's what's so important is getting people out of their shell, and I think we have the right people around to do that. So I think that's all for us, and I appreciate you guys watching another episode on campus at the Solano College Sports Network studio. I have been your host, Mason Flores, and this last time on campus. Thank you, Adel, for being on here,
having me.
And see you next time. Wow, bro, inspirational, bro. That was fire, bro.
Nice, bro. That shit is nice, bro.